I have a problem with a married woman not respecting a man. And I also have a problem with a married woman over respecting a man. Hello, my name is Lady Ceecee. Welcome to today's podcast on Lady Ceecee's Digest. See, if you're married, you new wives, newbies, old wives, or you intend to get married sometime in future, come closer. There's something we need to talk about. Do you know that the way you treat another man out there sends a direct message to everyone within that vicinity how you treat your husband? Do you know that your attitude is selling you out and also selling your husband out? Yes, I have a reason why I said I have a problem with how a married woman treats a man, respecting a man or over respecting a man. You go out there, you are in the midst of men or in the midst of people as a married woman. You feel you can behave anyhow, you can talk anyhow, you banter when you want to, and you just show nasty attitude. Do you know you're embarrassing yourself and at the same time embarrassing your husband? When you can't stand a man in a bit, whatever a man says, you throw it back, you are ready to get into argument, you behave poorly. Do you know that you are directly saying, I have one at home and he's nothing to me. I have one at home, I don't respect him. I have one at home, this is the way I talk to him. Do you know that is what your attitude is sending to people around? Do you know that's how people see you? See, as a married woman, a certain decorum is expected. It's expected you carry yourself with elegance. It's expected you carry yourself in a certain manner. It's expected you don't talk too much. It's expected you don't react towards everything, especially when a man is involved. It's expected you keep quiet. It's not everything a man says to you that you would want to defend yourself. Do you know that it's nice if you report certain incidents that happen maybe while at work or maybe you are somewhere to your husband? Do you know it's nice? Do you know it's sexy? Do you know it's feminine to do that? It's not everything you must talk back. It's not every time you stand up for yourself as a woman, as a married woman especially. Sometimes let your spouse, let your husband stand up for you. That's what makes you married. And that brings me to the other one of a married woman over respecting a man. Like literally you see a married woman kneeling before another man. Like, that's a lot to take in. Why will a married woman kneel before another man? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. I can't understand that. I'm trying to wrap my head around who is the person to you? Of what value is that person to you? What led to that circumstance in the first place? Why will you kneel down before another man? You see a woman, whenever their husband says one, they'll say 10, and they are expecting the husband to understand that women talk too much. Meanwhile, your boss at work is a man. Why don't you talk back at him when he issues instructions? Why don't you talk back at him when he says something you don't like? But every time your husband says something or brings a certain energy, you can never keep quiet for once. You can't let go. You must return the energy. You must give it back to him. You must let him know that you are offended. You must let him know that, you don't do this to me. Obey that instruction. But you get to your home, the man that you live at home with, that should get the best of everything, that should get your uncompromised loyalty, that should get your undiluted love, that should get your maximum respect, he gets half of everything, almost nothing. Do you know that it's wrong? Do you know that you are cheating that man tactically? Do you know that you are taking marital unwritten rules for granted? Do you know you're destroying your home? Do you know for every time you put a man down, you are bruising his ego and you are awakening the lion in him? I am in no way justifying domestic violence. In fact, I, Lady Ceecee, will join any woman that has been domestically abused, violated in any way to get justice. I will. I am not in support. I'm not a party. I will never advise anyone to condone any form of abuse. Physical, emotional, every form of abuse. So, I'm not supporting emotional abuse. But what I'm saying is that, do you know that there are circumstances that may have turned a good man into a monster? Do you know that you've constantly bruised and battered your husband's, your spouse's ego unknowingly with this type of attitudes? I just felt it's wise to bring it to your attention, that you should look back. Stop, count your steps, look back and find out how you've been treating your husband. Take a chill pill. Think if the way you've been treating him for some time now is the way he deserves to be treated. If you've given him everything due to him as a husband, if you've given him your undivided attention, loyalty, love, respect, have you done that in full? Some of us treat your husband like as if he doesn't matter. Meanwhile, he should be the most important thing. You see some women they around and say, I love my husband, he's the best thing in my life. You don't know that action matters. You don't know sometimes you express love by action. You don't know that sometimes talk is not just enough. They are just words. Rather dust the chairs for strangers, for visitors that comes to their home, than their husband. You can't remember when last you wake up in the morning and say, good morning, darling. But you greet your boss, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning. But you can't remember when last you woke up with a smile and say, my husband, good morning, sir. Or that makes you less smart? Is that what you think? You can't remember when last you carried your husband's dish yourself. I know, Madam Almighty, you are the head of your department. You are the director of that organization, the CEO, the managing director of that organization. Yes, I know. But can you beat your chest and say, I remember when last I carried my husband's dish, his food, when last I served it myself. I know you have house helps scattered all over. I know you have a cook or a chef or housekeeper or whatever. I know there are those whose duty it is to serve your husband the dish. But when last did you, the wife, carry that dish yourself, serve it? When last did you separate between your husband's cutlery, spoons, plates? Do your husband have a special plate in the house? Does he have a separate tea mug in the house? Does he have a separate water glass in the house? Does he have a separate spoon? Is there any plate in your kitchen that no one else can eat with except him? Can you beat your chest and say, you can't, have you ever given that type of instruction? You can't wash my husband's clothes with other people's on. The only time his clothes or his undies are treated specially or separately is when maybe you took them to the dry cleaners, or maybe the laundry shops, get to do his laundry. But for those ones that are being done at home, when last did you give instruction? Don't do my husband's laundry with another person's own. You feel those things are not important, they don't matter, they are not necessary. You don't think it's necessary for your husband to have a special spot in the dining that everyone that knows your home is aware that no one else can sit on that chair except your husband? You don't think it matters? You don't think it's necessary? You don't think it's necessary to separate your husband from the rest of the household? You don't think it's necessary that your children can tell, oh no, this is daddy's spoon, this is daddy's cutlery, this is daddy's plate, this spot of the dining is daddy's corner? You don't think it's necessary? You think you treat him like every other person? I want you to take a step. Pause. Think about the kind of energy you've been putting in your marriage. Think about the kind of message you've been sending out about your husband, knowingly or unknowingly, to your children. Think about the kind of message you've been putting out there, knowingly or unknowingly. You think it's okay for you to run around and say, I love my husband, he's the best thing in my life. You don't know that action matters. You don't know sometimes you express love by action. You don't know that sometimes talk is not just enough. They are just words. I just want to remind you that it's important to treat your husband right. Thank you very much for staying tuned on today's episode.